He's a former mayor of Dayton, Ohio. He's now chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. I served on the Intelligence Committee with him. And when I was on it the last couple of years, it was absolute pandemonium between Eric Schiff and Adam Schiff and Devin Nunes. It was totally partisan. Eric Schiff, I think Adam Schiff undermined the committee with impeachment and Russia collusion. But Mike Turner's on has come back, and he and the Democrat Jim Himes have made the committee bipartisan again. And we have real threats. We have 9/11 threats. We have border threats. And he's working in a bipartisan way. I think it was a great interview, not because of me, because of Judge Weinberg, but because of Mike Turner.
All
great
right.
guy.
And here's a little bit of that interview, everybody.
It's really great to be joined right now by my good friend from the state of Ohio. I served with him on the Intelligence Committee, and he's now the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Mike Turner. Mike, it's great to have you in New York, and update us on the Intelligence Committee, because when I was there and you were with me, that had become chaotic. We were, you had people like Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, I can go through the list, and really it seemed like the last thing they were concerned about was really the welfare and the security of the United States.
Well, thank you, Peter, and I appreciate you having me on. Peter, you have a great legacy in the House. We have made shifts in the Intelligence Committee. You were there when the committee had a legacy of working in a bipartisan basis and working in national security, and unfortunately dissolved into Nancy Pelosi hijacking it for the impeachment processes, making us the impeachment committee. The charge I was given when we took back the House was restore the committee back to national security. There's a real need, as you know, for us to do our work, to work with the intelligence community, make sure that they have the tools that are available to them, and that they're applied in ways that keep our country safe.
Let me just turn over to Judge Weinberg, who's here, a common sense Democrat.
Well, nice to have you both, Congressman. I'm deeply concerned about the failure of the Biden administration to provide for national security. We have an open border. You see them coming through the southern border. Now they're coming through the Canadian border. So there's a national security threat at both ends. What can be done to protect this country? Because this is totally unsustainable.
Right, and it's totally the policy of the Biden administration. I mean, their policy is an open border. And so that's the situation we get. You can tell the incredible influx that we've had since the Trump administration. The people who are coming across the border, some of them are trying to seek a better life, but some of them intend to do us harm. There are people on the terrorist watch list who have been captured, who've been coming across the border, who should not be coming to the United States. Having no controls on our borders mean that we don't get to choose who comes here, that they choose. And people who self-select have their own reasons for coming. It is an unbelievable human tragedy of the stories of people who've made this trek, who believe on the Biden administration's welcoming that they're going to find a better life. But along the way, they're taken advantage of. You have human trafficking. You have cartels. You have risk of life. This really is just a horrible human tragedy of this great migration that the Biden administration's encouraged.
Mike, Chairman Turner, we're just 3 days away from September 11th, which was an enormous impact here, obviously in New York, but really around the country and the world. Can you update us on what the Intelligence Committee is doing to try to prevent another 9/11?
Sure. Well, this is really an area where the intelligence community has really done great work, and we continue to do great work from them. We do have people who still want to do us harm, still people who are in organized fashion attempting to threaten the United States. We just do a really good job of taking down their organizational structures, following the money, following the communications, and try to prevent them from being able to perpetrate additional attacks. It can never be perfect. We always have a vulnerability as long as people wish to try to harm the United States. Certainly lone wolves are the most difficult to solve. But at the same time, we're in a much different place as we all mourn September 11th. We can at least know that there are things that we have done right that make us unique.
Judge?
Well, what I'm also very concerned about is this obsession the Biden administration has with redoing and renegotiating the Iran deal. And I consider that one of the great threats, not only to the Middle East, but to the entire world.
And then they don't live up to their word also. I mean, to make a deal with the Iranian regime, which is doing actions throughout the Middle East to harm all of their neighbors, harm United States allies. It's really unconscionable that this administration is basically going to them and saying, what do you want? We'll enter into whatever deal you want, instead of pressuring Iran and making it clear we will not tolerate a nuclear Iran, and that we'll take whatever actions are necessary, bringing them then to the table to negotiate a real deal that results preventing a nuclear Iran.
Mike, great having you in New York. Great seeing you again. Keep up the great work.
Very interesting conversation about so many security threats, especially Congressman King, as we're heading to the 9/11 anniversary, a very somber, commemoration.
We have to keep in mind the threat is still there. These are the same as they were back in 2001. They are aiming for us, and we have to constantly keep our guard up. We can't take our eye off the target. There's a lot of other things going on, but again, another 9/11 would be devastating to our country.